A member of the House of Representatives from Abia State, Ikwechegh, has apologized to the parliament over his misconduct and assault on an e-hailing driver in Abuja. But the leadership insists the rule of the House must be followed to the letter, as it mandates its Committee on Ethics and Privileges to probe the incident. National Assembly correspondent Ikwechegh Apologises reports.
In the last 4 days, member representing Abia South, Abia North Federal Constituency of Abia State has been trending on the traditional and social media for the wrong reason. A viral video shows him assaulting an e-hailing driver and threatening his life. The police has since intervened and it is investigating the allegations. Some 24 hours ago, the lawmaker issued a statement apologizing for his inactions. This is the first plenary session since the incident broke out, and the member apologizes to his colleagues and the institution.
What began as a misunderstanding regrettably escalated into actions and remarks that do not reflect the values that I hold dear.
A motion that this matter be referred, instead of going into suspension like everybody in Nigeria wants us to do, for us to apply the House rules. Those in support of this say aye.
Lawmakers have called on security agencies to end the killing of Nigerians in part of Awka, Anambra State.
These innocent citizens were brutally murdered by some armed militia while repairing their motorcycles at the mechanic garage in Awka.
The House calls for the review of the implementation of the Integrated Financial Management System, GIVMIS, and e-procurement in the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation.
There have been inefficiencies in the implementation of this policy in relation to the payment of contractors and the functionality of the procurement system.
A bill to amend the Banking and Other Financial Institutions Act to tame rising fraud in the sector passed second reading.
There is an alarming rise of bank fraud or unauthorized withdrawal of deposit funds in Nigeria.
The House has moved closer to establishing a federal medical center in Orile, Lagos, as the bill sponsored by Larry Okunlola passes second reading.
The need for a federal medical center will be a critical lifeline addressing the gap in a comprehensive and a strategic manner.
The sponsor says Lagos, with its booming population and diverse demographics, face a critical healthcare deficit. Ikwechegh Apologises, TVC News, Abuja.
For more updates, I'm joined by Chairman House Committee on Rules and Business, Francis Waive. Honorable Waive, thank you for joining us on the news tonight. I just heard the Deputy Speaker say, referring to suspension as what everyone in Nigeria wants the House to do. On the contrary, what majority of Nigerians want is a situation where members of the House are held to the highest level of accountability, ethics, and morality. Speak to us about how House rules address incidents of misconduct like we've seen by members, particularly those involving violence or harm to others.
Thank you very much for having me on the program tonight. The Deputy Speaker who presided today was right in saying that because the groundswell of the people on the street will want anybody who has breached any law to be given jungle justice. But we are a law-abiding country and the rules of the land must be obeyed. And the same thing in Parliament, when a member has breached the privileges of other members of the House of being a member, the rules apply. And in our case, Order 6 is the order among our standing orders that deals with the privileges of honorable members. And it clearly says in Rule 2 of Order 6 that any member may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly rising. He shall be prepared to move without notice a motion declaring that the contempt or breach of privilege has been committed, referring the matter to the Committee on Ethics and Privileges. That is the procedure. So even if people expect suspension or anything, you begin first by fair hearing, giving both parties involved in any matter the opportunity to speak out. But you are correct too when you say that what Nigerians expect is high moral standard from those who hold public office, from those who are referred to as honorable. That's not too much to demand. And that is what the majority of us provide in Nigeria. It's just sad that exceptions to the rule becomes very loud and very well publicized, such that it will appear like everything is rotten, but that is not the case in our country. The demand for high standards is very well in order, and we ensure that we keep to that.
I hear you clearly, Honorable. Again, I think it's highly assumptive to say that Nigerians want jungle justice. You have talked to us about what the rule require. There are questions about the measures in place, for instance, to ensure that members of the House maintain the highest standards of behavior, both within and outside the chambers. For instance, precisely, I just want you to speak to what constitutes misconduct for members of the House, because we've seen a member of the House suspended in the past for raising allegations of budget padding. What, according to these rules, would you say constitutes misconduct in this regard?
Well, indecent behavior, any behavior that brings disrepute to the House, and any behavior that is unbecoming of somebody who holds public office is a breach of privilege that he holds, and that every member ought to enjoy. So when you breach my privilege, I have a responsibility to bring it up. What constitutes a breach of privilege is defined by many different respects. But anything that is not of good character, anything that is not decent, anything that is not honorable, is anything that is not ethical. In fact, that is why there is the Committee on Ethics and Privileges, and the committee's responsibility is to ensure that ethical behavior is what is the norm. And you know that ethics is higher than law. Law will say don't do this, don't do that, but ethics goes into moral behavior and of the individual. And that is what we are looking at every time when we talk about ethics and privileges and the committee involved with that. So that's the rule.
I hear you clearly, Honorable. Because of our time, just before we let you go, we understand that the House is now investigating this matter. But how does the House plan to address potential conflicts of interest or bias in the investigation and disciplinary process, considering that this is one of you?
Well, in every case where such things are done, the House gives the privilege, or the opportunity rather, for every party involved to be heard. So in this particular case, the driver will be invited by the Ethics and Privileges Committee to tell his side of the story, and the honorable member will also tell his side of the story. And other people involved, like whoever made those phone calls, the honorable member himself. And usually we do our things in the open. Public hearings are open, investigative hearings are always open. So the public can be assured that there will be no bias, there will be no victimization of anybody. And good enough, the honorable member involved has been very remorseful. He has given his apology to the Nigerian people. So we do not expect anything different to come out of the investigation. He has already pleaded guilty, as it were. So to expect anything less than that would be pushing the narrative too far. So we all expect that at the end of the day, justice will be served.
All right. Honorable Francis Waive is Chairman, Committee on Rules and Business. Thank you for talking to us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
We'll return with more stories after this break. Stay with us, everyone.